Yes, my wife says that if I don't play hard and earn my money, I don't get the sexy time, and I like a sexy time. So if you see how I'm playing lately, I have playoff beard now because my wife says playoff is now, because if you want to play with me, you need to win. Hmm. Yeah, she said that to me. She's like, listen, you make $10 million a year. You need to perform on the ice, or you get no sexy time at home. And I'm very upset with that because I want sexy time. I love it with my wife. Hmm.
You ready? Here we go. They did it. I don't believe it. Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go. Go.
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1.
Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go. Go. All right, Panther fans, here we go. Can we get 3 in a row? Right? That's really the biggest question we have here. Can we get to 3 in a row? I know last year the question was, can we win the cup? This year it's, can we win 3 in a row? Bubba is back in net, so he's playing back-to-back on the road. It's not easy, right? Especially at his age. He's almost as old as I am. So look, if you saw the review with Stu this morning, appreciate you watching. You know, we looked at the schedule a little bit. This is not going to be easy. It is not going to be pleasant. We have to win games against these top teams, and it's a real have to, all right? Because like I've been saying it in terms of trying to chase in the playoffs. You get these 3-point games, and we had one last night with Washington and the Islanders, and then also Pittsburgh ended up winning as well. So we need to win. We need a little bit of help for some other teams to lose, but we're in the conversation. And considering how we looked maybe 2 weeks ago, we'll take it. I like the top six. I like what we got going there. We supposedly have no lineup changes for tonight. Now, in terms of when is Spencer going to be back, don't know. We have another back-to-back coming up next week. I believe it's Rangers and Penguins. So you need to get him on the ice before that happens. We've got a few back-to-backs coming up. If we need to do what we did last year, which was send him down to the AHL for even just a game, just to get his skates back on, get his legs back underneath him, that might just be the best thing, because we obviously have no intention on playing Alex Lyon. Other than that, here it is, Panthers. Okay? If you would have asked me, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season that we would be scratching and clawing and unsure of ourselves about going and playing Toronto, I would have probably whacked myself upside the head and thought I was having a nightmare. But here we are, not out of it, we're not in it, we're on that bubble. Get the 3 in a row. I keep saying it, I'm going to keep harping on it the rest of the year. Win 3, lose 1, lose in overtime. You do that consistently the rest of the season, this team gets into the playoffs and will take down the big bad Bruins in the most apocalyptic upset in the history of the NHL playoffs. And if you believe that, I'll shave my head again. Let's get to it. So, it's 3-2 Panthers after 1. Now, before the game on the stream, I said 6-3 Panthers. I don't think I was Cocoa Puffs for thinking it was going to be a high-scoring game, especially considering the way the referees are just handing out power plays to the Toronto Maple Leafs like giving out candy out of a van. You see what I'm saying? Now, look, I know there's going to be new people watching this video. I am not the guy that bitches about the referees all that much, but it's one thing you're going to make a call. It's another thing if all Gudas did was mouth off to the referee, man, he better have said something pretty damn near illegal to make that call. Not happy with the refereeing at all so far. But the Panthers get a shorthanded goal. Barkov breaks in, makes the shot, rebound, boom. Lundell's right there to put it back in the net. I know Stu's got to be happy about that. And we got a 3-2 lead. I don't suspect the way this game is going, it's going to be a runaway by anybody. We might end up with 10 goals scored by the end of the night. Bob looks good. Murray's allowed 3 goals, I think, on 8 shots, 7 shots. Move on to second period, but I think we're get the nitroglycerin ready. It's 4-3 Panthers after 2. Now, for those of you who know this channel, you know how I am. For those of you who are new to this channel, I don't believe I've ever once blamed an outcome of a game on the referees. I am not a bitch about the referees guy. All that being said, for all of the people who think that referees get paid and the games are rigged and all of that stuff, if you showed them that second period, you'd have no argument against it. I do not understand what I am witnessing. 7 power plays, the majority of them being just not even close. I've never witnessed anything like this in my life, and I've watched a lot of hockey, I've watched a lot of sports. At this point, I would be willing to how is this people joke about the referees being paid. I believe that this man that's refereeing the game, don't even know his name, don't even know the man making all these calls. And he had to have, one of the calls he had to have called back because the linesman came up and said, hey dude, it wasn't Bennett, okay? Or it would have been 8 power plays. I don't know what else to say other than I believe the dude is legit corrupt. There's no other explanation. There's no human explanation for what's going on out there on the ice. I've seen some bad referees. You see a bad call here, a bad call there. But this man is single-handedly keeping the Leafs in the game and manipulating the game. And I'm not even joking. And I know there's going to be Leafs fans. If we lose, they're going to be going wah, wah, and all the comments. I don't really care. If you're not an adult enough to admit that something is screwy here with these calls, and I don't know what to tell you. But this is obscene. It's absurd. I hope the Panthers win this game, because if not, there's no telling what kind of garbage is going to come out of my mouth. But all I can say is that, what is this, like shots are like 25-9 or whatever it was at the last check. I think the Panthers got a few more shots. But 7 power plays in 2 periods, with the majority of them being just absolutely, there's no explanation. And like I said, I have never in all my years said that ref's being paid or any, that ref's being paid. I would that ref does not belong in the NHL. It's an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. There's nothing else to say about it. Moving on to 3rd period.
We are going to overtime!
So, some of you might have just heard what I said on the live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this recap. Enjoy this post-game, because I don't know what's going to happen after what I just said live and what I'm fixing to say here now. I don't know if nobody's going to pay attention. I don't know if anybody's going to pay attention. I don't know if only somebody's going to pay attention. Those of you who've been watching this channel long enough have probably sensed a inner turmoil, an inner seething, and inside of the recaps and you know, why does this guy seem to be so agitated and aggravated when his team loses a game, etc., etc. Now, I will reiterate again, I've never been one to blame the referees. I've always been, and across the board for the most part, all my life, about all subjects, what's fair is fair. Things will even out. There's some things we need to accept. There's some things you can't do. But I'm over it, and I'm past it. And I'm sick and tired of holding my tongue and holding my breath, worried about what somebody else might think, what somebody else might say. That You know, I mean, this channel, as small as it is half of my income, and I still put my electric bill on my credit card most months because I don't make enough money to live. But what I can say about what I witnessed tonight on that ice, specifically in the second period, but also a little bit in the third, but basically specifically in the second period, then I could sit here and say that that referee is being paid and corrupt, and I would be accurate. And you can't talk me out of that, not in this moment. That was the most egregious, obvious example of corruption that I could ever see. But somewhere, somehow along the way, with the advent of the internet, that corruption became the least of our problems, because there will be Leaf fans in the comments calling me a crybaby, calling me a clown, whatever words you want to use. And there will be people that say, well, you got to know when you go into Toronto, you're playing the refs too. Why do we accept the fact that we knowingly know it's fucking corrupt? Across the board. Across the board. Why do we accept across all of the sports that we know the refereeing is absolute abject shit? Why, as people who pay the bills, by the way, of all of these owners, the players, the referees, we pay for their shit. I pay $200 a month for DirecTV, another $14 whatever to ESPN plus Hulu. NFL ticket was $300. Why do we why? Because I'm from Florida and you're from Toronto, as an example, not the only example. But why are we okay with the clear corruption across all of the sports? This is not just about what we saw tonight in the Panther game. This has been building for all of us for multiple years here. Oddly enough, it's been building since sports gambling became more and more fucking popular. And all of a sudden the refereeing got really, really suspicious. It got worse and it got worse and it got worse. And these teams are all owned by billionaire owners who, by the way, support the gambling and who, by the way, profit when things don't go exactly the way they look like they should go on the ice or on the field or on the court. You see what I'm saying? So why do we tolerate it? Why do we tolerate it? I'm going to back up all the way to the beginning where I said I don't make enough money to live, because most of us are just barely crawling by because of the economy and the way it is. And God help us, we ain't going to have our 3 hours of whatever sporting event we're going to watch ruined by the thought that it might be corrupt so the owners can get a little bit richer somehow, some way down the road by allowing referees to do obviously abject, horribly disgusting things like they did to my Florida Panthers, as just one example of many tonight in the second period. So why do we tolerate this? Why do we continue to put up with this? What can I do? What can you do? Right? What can I do? You want me to stop making videos? Well, I want to go work at Dunkin' Donuts, because that's what I'm qualified to do after 51 years of self-employment. The business I did have got ruined by the pandemic. Business model doesn't exist anymore. Filed bankruptcy. Don't have any money to start anything over. So this is it for me. Trying to build this channel based on a sport that, without getting political, going one direction, forget that part. The other part is that referee on the ice tonight is clearly corrupt. He's clearly being either paid or has a massive axe to the grind with Paul Maurice, or both. It's not debatable any longer. And every sport, we see this almost on a nightly basis. The refereeing is ass. The refs are horrible. The refs are terrible. The owners have the money to fix the problem, by the way. And this is the smoking gun. The refs know it's a problem for us. It's not a problem for them. And they have the money. They could have full-time, spectacularly paid referees. But they don't. Now, why don't they? Why do they not have capable referees who have some modicum of repercussions for when things go bad. Oh, in the NFL, the repercussions, you don't get to referee the Super Bowl. You don't think that's something that somebody can pay off in the back room? Hey, you won't get to watch this, you won't get to ref the Super Bowl, but blah 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 blah. I know it, you know it, we all know it, but yet we all participate. And yet there will still be somebody in these comments that says, I'm just crying because the Panthers lost. Because you don't care. Some of you might. But as long as your home team wins, man, you don't give a shit. What has to happen for that to happen? And that's not just tonight with my Panthers. That is across the board. It's rare these days to find a fan of a team. I do this all the time. Watch the history of this channel. I would do that all the time with the Panthers. Say, we got lucky there. We got away with one there. That's a rare find these days. Now, I'm not even blaming you. I'm going to circle back all the way again to the beginning of the video where I said I barely make enough money to live. You, just out there working, just trying to pay your bills. Your team, you don't care if they shafted my Panthers. You're not going to have your night ruined worried about if some unethical, corrupt referee shifted the game in your way. You got to go to work in the morning. You just want to be happy that your team won. I get it. I ain't blaming you. But what are we doing? As a society, as a sports society, what are we doing? Are we going to continue to tolerate it? How much longer? It's running joke. If you're going to Toronto, you're playing the refs. What the hell? Why? Why do we accept that? Why do we accept that? It should be... And what's the funny part? What's the funny part is the people who are okay with it are the same people that will yell and scream about equity and things being equitable. Well, it should be the same damn referees for me in Florida that it is for you in Toronto. It should be the same calls. And we should have the same expected outcome. But we don't. And it's accepted. And it's acknowledged. We all whisper it. We all say it in our little corners of the internet. But ain't nobody going to come up there and do this. There's a rare one. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? I don't know. I'm going to either get... Nobody's going to care. Somebody's going to care. I don't know. What I know... What I know is it ruins it all for us. Because a lot of it's not real, people. A lot of it's not real. You watch any game in any sport, but especially the NHL and the NFL. Now, I don't watch baseball and basketball, so somebody else can speak to that. But you watch football, you watch hockey, in every game, for the most part, there are monumental, momentum-changing plays that we all know are horseshit calls by the referees. And the owners don't care. And ask yourself the question, why don't they care? Why do they not care? Because they're making money off of us by cheating. It's what's going on. It's clear as day. Now, I'm not sitting here saying it's rigged. Or maybe I am. I don't know. It's not scripted like some people say. I don't think that would be possible. But if you don't think, with all the money that's on the line with sports betting, if you don't think these owners aren't shifting things 5%, 3%, 2% in their favor here or there, if you don't think that's going on, you're blind as a bat. Because you just saw it on the ice tonight. Give me one Toronto fan. Somebody give me one Toronto fan. Give me some hope for sports, for the freaking human race. Give me one Toronto fan in the comments that says, yeah, man, those calls were bullshit. Just give me one. Just give me one. Now, is that the complete and total reason why we lost? No. Back to back. Legs lost out on this in the third period. Didn't help that we had to call off 7 power plays. That's how it's done. It's arguable. They make it look arguable. Toronto fans will be like, well, this and well, that. Yeah, they make it look arguable. But we all know, back there in that little pit in your stomach or that little voice in the back of your head that's screaming at you, you know, I know, we all fucking know what's going on. And I, for one, am fucking sick of it. Stu and I will be back in the morning. or maybe we won't.